All praises and glory goes to Yah. All praises and glory goes to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the men and GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is Brother Boaz on the set once again. He requires what was in the past. Who? Yahweh Shai, okay? And foremost, Yahweh, okay? He's going to seek to do what was in the past, okay? Just like how example of Daniel and the Hebrew boys, okay, how they were tested, okay. They were tested in the hot flames, and spiritually, we're going to be tested, okay. But the hour of temptation, just know if you take the mark of the beast, if you take it, you won't make it out with your life when this thing comes to pass, okay. You're going to be destroyed on this side, okay. But if you take it, if you have enough strength spiritually not to take it, you might have a chance of making it out of here with your life when this thing comes to pass. Okay, yeah. So the hours among us. Okay, we need to keep 10 toes down, keep our posture, and keep calling on Yahweh Yahushai. Okay, that's what this is about. Okay, because the hour of temptation is upon us. And you heard me say this again. When you hear those nuclear weapons go off, boom, okay, like we discussed on multiple occasions, instant panic sets in, okay? You're gonna wish that you had the minute GMS, okay? You're gonna wish that we was on repeat, okay, when that day comes, okay? But it's gonna be too late. Okay, it's going to be the time when the door was shut. Okay, let's get it. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 3, verse 15. That which is now and that which is already been, and power requires what is past. Okay, so Yahweh shall require what is in the past. Okay, that's what this is about. Okay, he requires what's in the past, and he's going to do it again. The test is meant, okay, to see what type of sword his men are made of, okay. That's what this is about. Are you going to fail the test, or are you going to keep your 10 toes down for Yahweh Yahushai? Okay, he's going to test you with your life, okay. That's what this is all about. Turn to the book of Isaiah. The book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 10. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. Okay, so he's chosen us in the furnace of afflictions. Okay, that's what this is about. Okay, so if you want to make it out with your life, okay, you want your midnight train, your ticket out of here, you have to go by Yahweh Yahushai. Okay, that's what this is about. Okay, time is short. The book of Revelations. The book of Revelations, chapter 16. Chapter 16, verse 2. And the first went up and poured out his vials upon the earth, and there fell a noisium and grievous sores among the which took the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. Okay, so they took the mark of the beast. Okay, felt grievous sores on them. Okay, that's what this is about. They took the mark of the beast, and you gonna know they took it because they're gonna be have big sores on, cancerous sores, okay, due to the radiation. Seek Yahweh Yahweh Shai while you still can. The doors of mercy are steadily closing, okay? Seek Yahweh while you still can. The wicked needs to forsake his way. Come over to the book of Genesis. When you hear that those nuclear bombs go off, boom, okay, like we discussed, okay, instant panic sets in. The book of Genesis. The book of Genesis, chapter 16, chapter 6, verse 9. Now these are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with power. The earth was, verse 11, the earth was corrupt before power, and it was filled with violence. Yahweh looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, and all the flesh had corrupted his way, and upon the earth. Okay, verse 13. And power said unto Noah, one moment, the end of all flesh is come before me, and the earth is filled with violence. Do them which behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Okay, so Yahweh Shai is going to destroy this place. Okay, and you don't have much more time. Okay, because when he's going to pull the internet off. Okay, he's going to turn off the electricity. Okay, he's going to make it a chaotic state. He's going to make chaos. He's going to implement a lot of chaos to make you take that mark of the beast and make you take that chip. The book of Sirach, chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve Yahweh, prepare thy souls for temptation. Set thou heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in a time of trouble. So are you going to make haste in a time of trouble? Are you going to keep 10 toes down so you can make it out with your life, okay, when this thing comes to pass? Are you going to make it out with your life, or are you going to fold, okay? Because you're going to go and save your life and you're going to lose your life on this side, okay? You're going to try to go and save your life, taking the mark of the beast, and you're going to lose your life on this side when this thing comes to pass. Okay, let's get it. You're going to lose your life thinking that you're going to save your life, and like he did the pandemic. That's how. But he's going to, even though you more, he's going to pressure you more to do a wicked thing. Okay, you're going to go and try to save your life. You're going to lose your life. The book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 25. Now, whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life for my name's sake shall find it. Okay. Let's read Matthew chapter 16, verse 25 again. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life for my sake shall find it. Okay, so you're gonna try to go and save your life, okay? And you're gonna lose your life when this thing comes to pass, okay? And you're gonna lose it violently, like we discussed on multiple occasions, okay? You're gonna lose it very violently when this thing comes to pass. The book of Zephaniah, one, chapter 1, verse 2. I will utterly consume all things from the land, said Yahweh. I will consume man and beast. I will consume fowls of heaven and fishes of the sea, and the stomach block with the wicked. And I will cut off from the land, said Yahweh. I will also stretch out my hand upon Judah and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and will cut off the remnant of Baal from this place, and the name of the Shemars with the priests. Okay, so that's what this is about. Okay, can you withstand that hour of temptation? That's what this is about. Okay, can you withstand that day when this day comes to pass? Okay, or are you gonna the book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 14. And Enoch, the seventh from Adam, prophesied these things, saying, Behold, Yahweh comes with 10,000 of his saints to execute judgment upon all that convince that do to all the ungodly among that of all the ungodly deeds which they have ungodly have committed, and of all the hard speeches which the ungodly sinners have spoken against him. So when Yahushua comes, instant panic sets in, okay? When you see that giant UFO come, okay? Dread's gonna fill your heart, okay? For the elect, it's a blessing, okay? If you on the right hand side of Yahweh Yahushua, it's a blessing. But if you on that left hand side, you're gonna feel dread in that day. This thing comes to pass, okay? You're gonna feel it in that day, okay? You're gonna wish you took this thing more seriously in that day, okay? When this thing finally comes to pass. And each day, time is short, like we discussed on multiple occasions. Time is short. The book of Revelations, the book of Revelation, chapter 7, verse 1. And after these things I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth and holding the four winds of the earth, and the winds should not blow on the earth, or nor the sea, nor any tree. So these four winds are talking about thermonuclear destruction, okay? These four winds are talking about thermonuclear destruction on this man, okay? Turn to the book of Jeremiah. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 1. Thus said Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind, nuclear destruction on this side, okay? Like we discussed on multiple occasions, instant panic sets in, okay? You're gonna wish that you took this thing more seriously, okay? You're gonna wish that you didn't fail the test. This is a test, okay? The book of Second Corinthians. Instant panic sets in on that day, okay, for you and your loved ones, okay? You want to get a ticket out of here on that first go round. You want to make it out this midnight chain of Georgia, okay, when this thing comes to pass, okay? You want a seat on that train when this thing comes to pass. You don't want to be left behind. The book of Second Corinthians chapter 13, verse. Examine yourself whether if you know or if you are the faith, prove your own selves. Know ye not that your own selves that Yahweh Shah Mashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates, okay? Prove your own selves, okay? Turn to the book of Second Ezra. The book of Second Ezra, chapter 13, verse 16. For as if I conceived in my understanding, woe unto them that be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are left behind. Okay, you don't want to be left behind in that day. Okay, you want to be making out with your life. Okay, you don't want to be left behind in that day. Okay, you're gonna be destroyed. You're gonna be destroyed. That's what this is about, okay? You don't want to be left behind in that day, okay? Turn to the NET, okay? If you, I know you probably don't got an NET, but turn to the book of Isaiah. You don't want to be left in that day when this thing comes to pass. The book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 9, and it's a well quoted scripture. Look, Yahweh day of judgment is coming. It is a day of cruelty and savage rage of anger, destroying the earth and annihilating its sinners, okay? Destroying the earth and annihilating its sinners, okay? It's going to be annihilation, okay? You want to be annihilated when this thing comes to pass? That's what's coming to this place, okay? Don't let this man fool you don't let this man fool you that says that he's going to continue. No, he's not going to continue. This society's destined for destruction. But out of many tribulations, that's how we're going to receive our crown. The book of Acts, chapter 14, verse 22. Confirming to the souls of the disciples and exhorted them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of power. So I know it seems like you catching a lot of hell. Woe is me, but it's, if you could get your midnight ticket out here, would not you do it? Okay, to save you and your loved ones, to save you and your family and your loved ones, would not you do it? The book of Acts, chapter 16, verse 31. Let's start at verse 30. And brought them unto him, saying, Sir, what must I do to be saved? And they said, Believe on the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, and thou shalt be saved, and thou's house. Okay, that's what this is about. Okay, if you thinking about you and your loved ones being saved out this destruction, you have to go by the man of GMS's doctrine so you can make it out with your life. Okay, time is short. Okay, we don't. The hour is late. The hour is late. Okay, we see what time it is. Okay, that's what this is about. Turn to the book of 1 Corinthians. The book of 1 Corinthians. The book of 1 Corinthians 7, verse 5. Verse 29, excuse me. The book of 7, book of 1 Corinthians 7, verse 29. As this I say, brethren, the time is short. Is he that remain that both that they have wives as they have none. Okay, so seeking relationships, seeking I want to get married. No, okay, this ain't the time. Okay, this ain't the time for that. Okay, this is the time to seek Yahweh Shah while you still can, while the doors of mercy are still open. This ain't the time for that. This ain't the time. Okay, one moment. Turn to the book of Jeremiah. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 7, verse 34. I will put an end to the sound of joy and gladness and gladness or the celebrations of bride and groom throughout the towns of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem, for the whole land will become a desolate wasteland. Okay, what is able to make America a desolate wasteland? Okay, let's get it. What is able to make America a desolate wasteland? Let's get it. Turn to the book of Joel. Okay, one moment. Give me a moment here. What basically could make America a desolate wasteland? Turn to the book of Yoel. The book of Yoel, chapter 2, verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm under my holy mountain. That's the prophets, okay? Okay, not sparing nobody's feelings, blowing ye the trumpet. The day of Yahweh is coming. 40 more days, and none of us going to get overthrown. 40 more days, and America's overthrown. America's days are over, okay? Seek Yahweh, Yahweh Shah, while you still can, while the doors of mercy are still open. Let the inhabitants of the land tremble, for Yahweh's day is coming, for it is nigh at hand, a day of darkness, a day of gloominess, a day of clouds, a day of thick darkness. It is a day morning spread upon the mountains, and great people and a strong that have not been have not been ever the likes, neither shall it be any more after to the years of many generations. Verse 3, a fire devours before them. That was able to make America basically a waste of dust land. Was able to make America a wasteland, okay? We're getting into it now. A fire devours before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a waste and a desolate wilderness. Yea, nothing shall escape them. Okay, what's that talking about? Thermonuclear weapons out of here. Okay, so if you want your midnight ticket out, you want to get your midnight ticket out of here when this thing comes to pass. The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they that also pierce him, and the kindreds of the earth shall well because of him. Even amen. Okay. When you see Yahweh Shai, instant panic sets in, okay? Dread sets in, okay? Because you're going to know the game is over, okay? They're going to lick up dust they're going to lick up dust, okay, when this thing comes to pass. Instant panic sets in. The book of the book of Revelations chapter 2 verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall try some of you. The devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, that ye may have tribulations. 10 days. Be faithful unto the death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Okay. So some of us are going to get put into prisons, okay, aka concentration camps, okay, when this thing comes to pass. But you have to have 10 toes down. Turn to the book of Daniel. Because since Yahweh Shai is going to require what is past. The book of Daniel, chapter 3, verse 1. Nebuchadnezzar the king had made an image of gold, whose height is 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits, and set it in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all rulers of the province to come to dedicate to the image which Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Then the princes, the governors, the captains, that's the mark of the beast, okay? He's going to set up an image, which is the mark of the beast, okay? That's what this is about. And you're going to have to be tested and put into that spiritual flame. And are you going to basically, are you going to, okay? And if you fold, you won't make it out with your life when this thing comes to pass, okay? You're going to die on this side, okay? One moment, you're gonna die on this side, okay? A very violent death, okay? You won't make it out with your life, okay? Let's get it. The book of Revelations. The book of chapter 21, verse 8. But as for the cowards, unbelieving, detestable persons, murderers, the sexual immoral, and those who practice magic spells, idols, worshippers, and all who lie, their place will be in the lake of burning which of fire and sulfur. That is the second death. Okay, so they're basically the coward, okay? How are you the coward? You didn't keep 10 toes down for Yahweh Shai, okay? How are you the coward? You took the mark of the beast when it came out, okay? Like the brother brought out, it's going to be a horrible legacy attached to that thing when you come back in regeneration. You're going to be good, okay? We're going to love you like one of our own, because you are of our own. But if you take that mark of the beast, it's going to be you're going to be known as the one that took it. You didn't have faith in the Lord. The book of Daniel, chapter 3. Come back over here. Now, the book of Daniel, chapter verse 15. This is from the NET version. Now, any Now, if ye are ready when you hear the sound of the horn, the flute, the triumph, the harp, the pipe, and all kinds of music, you must bow down and pay homage to the statue which I have made and pay homage to it. You will immediately okay, one moment. That I made, if you don't pay homage to it, you will immediately be thrown into the midst of a furnace of blazing fire. Now, who is that who can rescue from my power? Okay, so that flame of fire, if you will, that's if you don't take it, okay? But you have to have faith in Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. You have to have faith in Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to the king of Babylon, we don't need to give you any reply concerning this. If our power, who are is we serve, exists, he will able to rescue us from the furnace of blazing fire. And if he rescues us, O king, from your power as well, but if he does not, let it be known to you, O king, that we don't serve your gods, and we will not pay homage to the golden statue that you have erected. Okay, the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast when it comes out, okay, the RFID chip, okay, paying homage if you letting this devil pierce you, okay, that's what this is about. The mark of the beast. Then Nebuchadnezzar was filled with rage, and his disposition changed towards Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He gave order to heat the furnace 7 times hotter than it was normally heated. Now, jumping over here to verse 25, verse Daniel chapter 3, verse 25. He answered, but I see 4 men in untied and walking around in the midst of the fire. No harm has come to them. The appearance of the fourth is like that of a god. Then Nebuchadnezzar approached the door of the furnace of blazing fire, and he called out to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servant of the Most High God, come out, come here. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego emerged from the fire. Once the straps, perfect governors, and the ministers of all the king would gather around them. They saw that those men were physically unharmed by the fire. So Yahushua is able to make a basically unharm us, okay? So this beast system don't basically overtake us, okay? He's able to do it, okay? You just gotta have faith in Yahweh Yahushai, okay? Keep 10 toes down and keep your integrity, okay? Because you don't want to be destroyed. You want your ticket out of this midnight train in Georgia, out of here, okay? When this thing comes to pass, okay? You want to get your ticket out of here. And he saw that those men were physically unharmed by the fire. The hair of their head was not singed, nor that there was trousers damaged, not even the smell of fire was to be found on them. So they got thrown into a blazing hot fire, okay? A furnace, okay? And Yahweh Shai saved them, okay? And we read in the scripture, the same God yesterday, the same God today, okay? This all gives praise and glory to Yahweh Shai's name, okay? You glorify his name when you call out in tribulations. That's one of the reasons why he put you through tribulations, because he gets glory and honor when you cry out for him from your tribulations. The book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 28. Nebuchadnezzar claimed, "Praise be to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent forth his angel, has rescued his servant who trusted in him, ignored the edict of the king, and given up their bodies rather than to serve and pay homage to any god other than their God, other than a power, hereby decreed that any people, nation, or language, or group that blasphemed the power of Meshach, of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego will be dismembered, and his house is reduced to rubble. For there exists no other power who can deliver in this way." Okay, so only Yahweh Shai could get you out of this hour of temptation. Okay, only the blood of Yahweh Shai can get you your midnight ticket out of here so you can make it out with your life. Okay, that's what this is about. Only Yahweh Shai is going to save you out of this tribulation that's going to come. Okay, so hopefully you was well edified. All praises to Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Shalom.